not known for being the most fun time. And it's funny because a lot of kids are like moving at this time, like they're going into going to a different school with different classes. Yeah. And then you're going through this awkward time in your life, and here's some other new people for you. It'll be fun. So yeah, that's an interesting time.
Usually middle school has the stereotype of being pretty rough, pretty tricky, and then after middle school is high school, and by that point you're what, like 14 years old? 14 through 18 years old, so you're not right at the beginning of puberty, instead you're a little further in, and you're a little more mature, maybe. Ninth grade is still you know, when you're in ninth grade and you're like 15,
a lot of it, especially if you're a guy, like puberty will hit all of a sudden and then you'll be a man versus like I was, a boy.
A little boy when you're in ninth grade. Yeah, so this is the typical progression of school, and there's a couple different options in the U.S. You can go to public school, which is free. It's paid for by your taxes, so if you pay taxes, it's technically not free.
Free, not free.
Free, not free. It's paid for by the state. You could go to public school. You could go to a public charter school. So this is kind of a nuance where you don't have to pay extra to go to a charter school, but it's somehow
run privately.
It's run privately, smaller, usually the programs have a little bit higher quality. And to get into a charter school, you also need to do a lottery. And this is like the lottery where you enter to win $50. This is where you just sign up and they pull a name out of the hat, totally random, and if you win it, you get it, you don't. So it's not based on your income, it's not based on where you live, because unlike public schools are based on where you live, you have to go to the school in your neighborhood. But charter school, yeah, especially if you live in an area that's really poor, well, your school is probably not going to be very high quality, and there's a lot of controversy about that, which is kind of like, you don't have the same resources to get out of poverty and all of that. So we've got public school, charter school, private school,
لا روح بنش من ايام سنين بالضبط
where half of the day they spend time outside in the woods, or the teachers try to incorporate outside nature into the lessons.
A lot of times these schools will call themselves alternative education, so that just means we're trying to do something different here.
Yeah, and there's varying degrees of quality. Just because you're paying for it doesn't mean that it's going to be vastly better quality than the free public school. So if you come to the U.S. and you think, I want my kid to have the best education, I think I can afford to pay for private school, make sure you check it out first and make sure that it's actually the quality that you want. There are a lot of scholarships, actually. So the school that our son goes to, a lot of people have an 80% scholarship to go to the school, which makes it very affordable. The state has scholarships. The school provides some scholarships. There's some grants given to the school to provide scholarships, so they're trying to make it more accessible.
Yeah, most schools, especially private schools, and anything education related, you're going to find a lot of organizations that will try to help kids get into whatever they really, really want, and the government helps with that as well.
Yeah.
America.
I think a lot of it comes down to the parents having the ability to sign up, follow through with the applications, sign up for the scholarship.
That doesn't mean it's easy.
It doesn't mean it's easy, but it is an option. There's a fourth option, which is what Dan experienced when he was a child, homeschooling.
Look at me.
So interestingly enough, what % of Americans do you think homeschool? This means that generally, don't think your mom
This is what I learned in homeschooling.
Your mom or your dad is your teacher. Usually your mom. And there's like local organizations that you can join weekly, like a co-op. They call it a homeschooling co-op. What % of American children are homeschooling as of 2021 or
Well,
2020?
I would have guessed it was very low.
ابدأ رحلة تعلم اللغات مع دولينجو. طريق دولينجو الذي صممه خبراء التعلم يساعدك في التدريب على مهارات التحدث والاستماع والقراءة والكتابة التي تحتاجها لتحقيق أهدافك الحقيقية. مع دروس قصيرة ممتعة يمكنك أداؤها في أي وقت أينما كنت. أصبح تحقيق تقدم ملموس كل يوم أسهل من أي وقت مضى. اختر لغة لتبدأ التعلم الآن مجانا. قم بتسجيل تطبيق تعلم اللغات رقم 1 في العالم، دولينجو.
See, I think I looked at your phone earlier
You
and saw it.
cheated.
Well, you showed it to me.
Okay.
But I would have guessed like 2%
Okay.
before seeing that.
Okay.
But I think it's higher.
Yes, the answer is 7%.
Which is pretty high,
It's
actually.
almost the same amount as go to private school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so 7%. And the interesting thing
I guess
is,
it probably bumped up after COVID, too.
yes, that's the big thing. So before COVID, it was, I think, 4 or 5%, and now it's 7%, and it's growing 10% every year. So it's hard to talk about those stats, but it's growing every year because of all the changes in education.
Yeah, and private or public schools gotten kind of like a bad reputation as well. I mean, there's varying qualities, but a lot of people where they live, their school is not very good. And it's not just teachers, it's also like the peers you're with, and kind of, I don't know. I mean, obviously I teach at an alternative school, so I'm not a big fan of the traditional model, and I don't like all the bureaucracy, and not to say that there's not a lot of good-hearted people in the system. I just think that the system is, well, it might sound a little cliche, but it's broken.
Yeah, so those are the general options in the US, and I think the cool thing is that if you choose an alternative option, private school, charter school, homeschooling, it's not seen as very weird. It's unusual, it's not the majority, but you're not like an outcast. You're not so weird, like, oh my goodness, you homeschool? It's not like that generally. It's just, oh, okay, someone does something different. I think that's kind of like in the American culture.
That is very much an American culture thing.
Yeah, you accept people, try to accept people who do different things.
And because we lived in South Korea for a while, like we felt that difference so big. Like we never met anybody who homeschooled there. We met like one family.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, like everyone uses the same education system, and deviating from that norm is really unusual in that
or
culture.
even looked down on. But in America, if you do something different like that, people, they may like sometimes go and like whisper about it, or like say, I don't really agree with that, but they'll never tell you to your face that they have a problem with that, like a decision you might make, especially a personal decision.
Dan was homeschooled until how old?
Yes, until 13, I think.
Okay.
Yes, until middle school.
And Dan's pretty cool.
Yes, and I feel like homeschooling today is way better than it was when I was a kid. Like,
way more resources.
I think that what I experienced, I don't want for my kids, but today I can kind of feasibly see how you can build up certain social exposures, have certain groups. There's a ton of resources online.
And your mom certainly did the best that she could do.
My mom did a good job. I think it was just, for me personally, I don't think it fit what I probably needed as a child.